Have you ever wondered why Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet is still considered one of the greatest love stories ever told, even after more than 400 years? What is it about this tragic tale that continues to captivate audiences, making us feel their passion, their desperation, and their heartbreak as if it were our own? Today, we're going to dive deep into the world of Verona, a city of beauty and bloodshed, to uncover the layers of this timeless masterpiece. Forget what you think you know from movie clips and pop culture references. We're going to explore the raw emotion, the fateful decisions, and the powerful message that Shakespeare embedded in this story of two star-crossed lovers. So grab a cup of tea, get comfortable, and let's journey back to a time of grand balls, secret vows, and a love so powerful it defied even death itself. Imagine the sun-drenched streets of Verona, Italy. It's a beautiful city, but beneath the surface, it's poisoned by a bitter, ancient feud. Two powerful families, the Montagues and the Capulets, have been enemies for so long that no one even remembers how it started. Their hatred spills into the streets, leading to brawls and bloodshed, disrupting the peace of the entire city. The Prince of Verona has had enough. He declares that any further fighting will be punished by death. This is the tense, volatile world our story begins in. It's a world where your last name determines your friends, your enemies, and ultimately, your fate. Into this world steps Romeo, a Montague. But he's not looking for a fight. He's a poet, a dreamer, lost in his own melancholy. He's heartbroken over a woman named Rosalind, who has sworn a vow of chastity. Romeo is the very picture of unrequited love, sighing in the shadows and speaking in beautiful, flowery verses about his sorrow. His friends, Mercutio and Benvolio, try to cheer him up. Mercutio, in particular, is a wild card, witty, cynical, and full of life. He doesn't believe in the kind of idealized love that has Romeo so down. He teases Romeo mercilessly, urging him to forget Rosaline and find another beautiful face in the crowd. Their chance comes unexpectedly. A servant of the Capulet family, unable to read, asks Romeo to help him with a guest list for a grand party they are hosting that very night. Romeo sees Rosalind's name on the list. His friends see an opportunity. "Let's go to this party," they say. "Crash it. You can compare Rosalind to other women and see that she's not the only one." Romeo is hesitant. It's the house of his sworn enemy. But his desire to see Rosalind, and perhaps a sense of fate pulling him forward, convinces him. So, hidden behind masks, Romeo and his friends sneak into the heart of Capulet territory, an act that will set in motion a chain of events that no one can control. Meanwhile, in the Capulet household, we meet Juliet. She's not even 14 years old, a young woman on the cusp of adulthood, but still innocent and obedient to her parents. Her mother, Lady Capulet, and her loving but talkative nurse are discussing marriage. A respectable and wealthy nobleman named Paris has asked for Juliet's hand. Her parents think it's a wonderful match. Juliet, however, hasn't even thought about marriage. She politely agrees to consider Paris, to look at him at the party that night. But her heart is not in it. She is a dutiful daughter, but a spark of independence lies just beneath the surface, waiting for the right moment to ignite. Little does she know, that moment is just hours away. The party is in full swing. Music, dancing, a feast for the eyes. Romeo, still moping, wanders through the crowd. And then he sees her. Across the room, he spots Juliet. In that instant, Rosalind is completely forgotten. He is mesmerized. He asks a servant who she is, but he doesn't need a name. For him, it's as if a light has just been switched on in a dark room. He says, "Did my heart love till now? Forswear its sight. For I ne'er saw true beauty till this night." He has never seen anything so beautiful. He knows he must speak to her. It's a classic case of love at first sight, immediate and overwhelming. He approaches her, his mask still offering some anonymity. He takes her hand, speaking to her in a sonnet, comparing his lips to pilgrims who have traveled to a holy shrine, her hand. Juliet, far from being shy or taken aback, is intelligent and witty. She plays along with his poetic metaphor, matching his verse with her own. Their conversation is a dance of words, full of charm and a palpable electric chemistry. They share a kiss, then another. It's a magical, stolen moment in the middle of a crowded room, but the magic is about to be shattered. Just as they are lost in each other, Juliet's nurse pulls her away. Romeo asks the nurse who Juliet's mother is. The answer hits him like a physical blow. She is the lady of the house, a Capulet. His newfound love is the daughter of his family's greatest enemy. At the same time, Juliet asks her nurse about the masked young man. She learns his name, Romeo, a Montague. Her reaction is just as devastated. My only love sprung from my only hate. The die is cast. They have fallen in love with the one person in the world they are forbidden to love. But for them, it's too late. The love they feel is too strong to be denied by a family name. Unable to go home, Romeo leaps over the orchard wall into the Capulet garden, drawn back to the place where Juliet lives. This leads to one of the most famous scenes in all of literature, the balcony scene. Juliet appears on her balcony, speaking her thoughts aloud, not knowing Romeo is listening below. She famously asks, "Oh, Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art thou Romeo?" She isn't asking where he is, but why he is Romeo, a Montague. She wishes he could shed his name so they could be together. Hearing this, Romeo steps out of the shadows. Startled but overjoyed, Juliet listens as he declares his love. They exchange passionate vows, their words soaring with the poetry of newfound love. Despite the danger, they decide they cannot live without each other. They make a daring plan to get married in secret the very next day. The next morning, Romeo rushes to see Friar Lawrence, a wise Franciscan friar who is also skilled in the use of herbs and potions. The friar is shocked. Just yesterday, Romeo was crying over Rosalind, and now he's in love with a Capulet and wants to get married today? He chides Romeo for his fickle heart. But then, a thought occurs to him. This swift, passionate love might be a blessing in disguise. He thinks, "For this alliance may so happy prove, to turn your household's rancor to pure love." Perhaps their marriage could be the very thing that finally ends the bitter feud between the Montagues and the Capulets. Hoping for peace, the friar agrees to marry them, with the help of Juliet's loyal nurse, who acts as a messenger. The secret wedding is arranged. That afternoon, in Friar Lawrence's cell, Romeo and Juliet are married. For a brief, shining moment, their love has conquered all. They are husband and wife. They believe their union will pave the way for a brighter future, not just for them, but for their families. They are filled with hope and joy, completely unaware that the streets of Verona are about to erupt in violence once again, and their world will come crashing down around them. Tragedy strikes with brutal speed. Just an hour after the wedding, Romeo's friends Mercutio and Benvolio encounter Tybalt, Juliet's hot-headed cousin. Tybalt is still furious that Romeo crashed the Capulet party and is looking for a fight. When Romeo arrives, happy and in love, he refuses to duel Tybalt. He now sees Tybalt as family, though he can't explain why. He says he has a reason to love him and begs him to put his sword away. Mercutio, who doesn't understand Romeo's sudden peacefulness, is disgusted. He thinks Romeo is being dishonorable and cowardly, so Mercutio draws his own sword and challenges Tybalt. As they fight, Romeo tries to step between them to stop it. But in that moment, Tybalt stabs Mercutio under Romeo's arm. Mortally wounded, Mercutio curses both families. "A plague of both your houses." His death is a turning point. The playful mood is gone, replaced by shock and grief. Romeo is overcome with guilt and a thirst for revenge. The love he felt for Juliet a moment ago is consumed by rage. He challenges Tybalt, and in the ensuing duel, Romeo kills him. The reality of what he's done sinks in immediately. He has killed his wife's cousin. He cries out, "Oh, I am fortune's fool!" A victim of fate. The prince arrives and instead of sentencing him to death, banishes Romeo from Verona. He must leave the city by dawn or be killed. The news destroys both Romeo and Juliet. Romeo hides in Friar Lawrence's cell, weeping on the floor, saying that banishment is worse than death because he can't be with Juliet. The friar devises a plan. Romeo will go to Juliet to comfort her and say his goodbyes, then flee to the nearby city of Mantua. The friar promises that, in time, he will reveal the marriage and beg the prince for a pardon. Meanwhile, Juliet is in her room, weeping for both her cousin's death and her husband's banishment. Her parents misunderstand her grief. Thinking she's only mourning Tybalt, her father decides that a joyful occasion is needed to lift her spirits. In a fateful decision, he arranges for her to marry Paris in just a few days. When Juliet refuses, her father explodes in a rage, threatening to disown her if she doesn't obey. Her mother turns away, and even her trusted nurse advises her to forget Romeo and marry Paris. Juliet feels utterly alone and betrayed. Desperate, she runs to Friar Lawrence for help, threatening to take her own life if he can't find a solution. Seeing her desperation, the friar proposes a dangerous, risky plan. He gives her a sleeping potion that will make her appear dead for 42 hours. Her family will place her in the Capulet tomb. Meanwhile, the friar will send a letter to Romeo in Mantua, explaining everything. Romeo can then return, be there when she wakes up, and they can escape to Mantua together. Left with no other choice, Juliet agrees. She returns home, pretends to be apologetic, and agrees to marry Paris. That night, alone in her room, she overcomes her fears. What if the potion doesn't work, or what if it's a real poison, and drinks it? The next morning, her family finds her seemingly dead. The wedding preparations turn into funeral arrangements. Their joyful day becomes one of sorrow and mourning, and Juliet is laid to rest in the family tomb. But the friar's plan goes horribly wrong. The messenger he sent with the letter to Romeo is delayed by a quarantine and never reaches him. Instead, Romeo's servant, who saw Juliet's funeral, rides to Mantua and tells Romeo that Juliet is truly dead. The news shatters Romeo. Consumed by grief, he makes a final desperate decision. He buys a fast-acting poison from an apothecary and rides back to Verona to die beside his beloved Juliet. Late that night, Romeo arrives at the Capulet tomb. There, he encounters a grieving Paris, who is laying flowers for his would-be bride. Paris recognizes Romeo as the man who killed Tybalt and thinks he has come to desecrate the tomb. They fight, and Romeo, in his grief-fueled rage, kills Paris. He carries Paris's body into the tomb, where he sees Juliet. He is struck by how beautiful she still looks, her cheeks and lips still rosy. He doesn't realize it's because she is not actually dead. He speaks to her one last time, kisses her, and drinks the poison, dying at her side. Just moments later, Friar Lawrence arrives, too late. As he enters the tomb, Juliet begins to wake up. She sees the friar and asks, "Where is my Romeo?" But then she sees him, lying lifeless beside her. The friar, hearing the city watch approaching, begs her to come with him. But Juliet refuses to leave. When the friar flees, she is left alone with her love. She sees the empty cup of poison and kisses Romeo's lips, hoping some poison is still there for her. There isn't. Then she sees Romeo's dagger. "Oh, happy dagger," she says, "this is thy sheath." And she stabs herself, falling dead upon Romeo's body. The watchmen arrive to find a scene of unbelievable tragedy. The prince, the Capulets, and the Montagues are all summoned. Friar Lawrence returns and confesses everything: the secret marriage, the sleeping potion, the whole tragic story. His account is confirmed by a letter Romeo had written. Seeing their children dead before them, Lord Capulet and Lord Montague are finally confronted with the terrible price of their hatred. Their long and bitter feud has destroyed the very things they held most dear. In their shared grief, they finally reconcile. Lord Capulet takes Lord Montague's hand, and they promise to build golden statues of the lovers to honor their memory. The prince has the final words, stating that the sky is dark for this sad day, and concludes, "For never was a story of more woe than this of Juliet and her Romeo. Their deaths have brought peace, but at an unbearable cost." And so, the story ends, not with a celebration of love's victory, but with a truly timeless tragedy. Thanks for watching. If you love classic literature breakdowns like this, be sure to like and subscribe for more.